Yes, people, welcome back. Another episode of Above the Knee. Jay, how are you, man?
I'm much better now. Much better now.
He's relaxed, he's chilled out. I'm ready for an exciting one. Introducing Courtney Mckenzie, women's football writer and social media at London City Lionesses.
Hello,
Courtney,
how are we?
Oh, good. How are you?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty good. I feel like compared to the guests you guys have had on here, I'm definitely lower on the caliber list, but massively honoured to be here anyway because I do love a chat.
No, don't be silly. We're excited to have you on.
Can't wait.
Where should we start from the beginning? Shall we start from the beginning? This is like going all the way back. Like,
Wow.
what was your journey into football, and then obviously into working in women's football? What was your journey?
So I've played since the age of when I'm about 5 years old. So I've grown up in like a football family, both parents and older siblings. You know, it's almost like a tradition that we've all played and somehow ended up in our own hobbies that we wanted to do. So my older sisters always ended up in dancing. As you can see, I certainly did not. I continued down the football route. So I was constantly football as a kid, and kind of where I grew up, it was good to have a distraction so that you didn't end up doing anything too stupid. So I was constantly there at any opportunity that I could. And I actually ended up not too bad at it. So my parents kind of encouraged me to train that a little bit harder and do a little bit more. Because if I wanted to go and do professional football, at least I had the baseline there to go and do it. I played for a team called Glasgow Women who are in the championship now. They weren't when I was there, but they've grown massively and are such a good advert for the women's game. So they're doing amazing things and get like ex-Celtic players there and some players from like down south and stuff. They're doing really good things. And then at primary school one day we had a Rangers coach come in and do a kind of workshop. He was standing at the side of the car park and our football pitch was right next to that. And I was the only girl playing that day with the boys at lunch. And he just so happened to take my age group at Rangers Football Club, which I never hide is a club that I support and have since birth. So as you can imagine, I was, up in the ante a little bit for him. And it just so happened that he scouted me that day and spoke to my parents after school for me that day as well, and played with them, and then ended up on the other side of Glasgow at Celtic. They were leading the academy at that time, and it made sense for me to go there and develop. Loved every minute of both clubs. Like, it was such a professional setup to the point where, I can see where the heartbreak comes from young kids when they're told that they're not good enough, because you're so convinced at that point that you're going to make it, and then it all comes crashing down. For me, it was more about, I realised that I didn't really enjoy it that much, and that the commitment was just a bit much for a young kid. I was like 13, 14, leaving for school in the morning, leaving school, going straight to training, and then getting in at 11 o'clock and doing it all again. It was a lot. And on top of that, I was doing other sports, like I was a swimmer as well. And I'd done a bit of hockey. So it was just too much. And I decided I'm going to study on my academics like a good young child that I was. Luckily, my parents backed that as well. They were gutted because they thought I had the potential, but I was more interested in doing other things and having a bit of a social life. So yeah, I kind of stripped back the playing, focused on my exams, and then got back into playing at like 17 for BSc Glasgow just to get back into it because I missed it so much. And yeah, played with them right up until I left for London, and switched my allegiance from boots to a notepad and a laptop, and here we are. I'm on your guys' podcast.
What was it like being at an academy from so young then?
It was the best experience like ever, but on the opposite end of the spectrum, it was so pressurising because, you're playing for a huge badge, whether that is Rangers or Celtic or whether that is like Arsenal or Chelsea. I can imagine the pressure feels the same. But it's just amazing. You're treated like, you're treated like royalty. I was taken into the changing rooms. I was shown all my kit. I was showing all these pictures that I'd seen before because I'd been to Murray Park before. My dad was standing there, the proudest man on earth, getting my pictures taken. It was probably his best moment compared to mine. But it was honestly the best thing. The training was such a high standard for how many years ago it was, but to see what it is now, Rangers women and Celtic have got the leading academies in Scotland by far and producing some of the best talent you'll see in Scotland in a few years. But to be involved in that was an incredible feeling, and it's something that I still hold very, very close because I think it shaped me to be as hardworking, I think, as what I am now, because I know that hard work reaps rewards. I've seen it. So if you apply that to anything in life, then you'll definitely come out the other end with the reward. And that's what happened when I was younger.
I think your self-awareness is staggering, because a lot of people would I've had experience with people and it's like getting to an academy and it's almost, I've made it now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but for like you to be like, oh no, you need to carry on working hard, and then actually I'm gonna step away from this because I know it's too much.
Yeah.
And then like go back and play football. Like, I think like self-awareness, like to be as young as you were as well, like that's mental. Like
my parents, never let me for a second think that, this is it, you've got it. It was always, well, how can you push further now? And I think I'm glad that they've done that, but it's probably breeded me into sometimes I can't stop working, probably like the both of you. I can imagine the both of you are similar to that. You just don't know when to turn the laptop off. But yeah, it definitely got too much, to the point, I was like, if I keep going, I'm going to have to be a professional footballer, because my exam results will not carry me into anything else. I'm just not doing enough at school. I was getting into school like shattered. Even I was like, they were like, oh, do you want to play at lunchtime? I'd be like, no, because I've got like 4 hours of training after school. I don't want to. I'm not allowed to get injured. But it was the best experience ever. And we won a tournament and stuff and all that. And sure, we won the league as well. So to me, I'd done what I've always wanted to do, pull on a Rangers kit and representing the club. So I'll always hold that close. But I think they'll be glad not to have me now, because they're like chasing a league title at the minute, and I certainly would not contribute to that. So yeah, no, it's definitely one of the best experiences I've had for my whole life, really.
And moving from playing, did you know that you wanted to do what you're doing now, essentially? Like straight away, was it like, I'm going to step away from playing, focus on my exam, but like football's never going to be far away. Like that's still my goal, just in a different capacity.
Yeah, so working in football was always something that I wanted to do. I spoke to my parents, and I had a chat with them, because I was coming up to the point where I was going to have to choose what I wanted to do. I was going to have to go to uni, or I was going to have to do something. And football had always had such a close place in my heart, and it obviously still does. But I was thinking about, coaching, but I was like, I don't think I can give as much back into football as I can with coaching, because I've not done much of it. And I don't really see myself doing it. I look at these coaches and I think, could I be you? Probably not, because I just don't think I had the passion for the coaching. But I'd always enjoyed writing and was very good at English at school, and almost criminally good at it, because I could do it without any studying or any effort. So I was kind of lucky in that way. But I remember one thing my parents took back to was watching Match of the Day, and always loving how the presenters would go about their their set. And my parents, bless them, didn't know much about it, because they're mid-50s, so they were trying to muster up as much information as they could, but teach me about the world of broadcasting and how they do that. And one person they spoke about was Ailey Barber, who's a Scottish broadcaster, and she does a lot of Scottish football. So when I turned 18 and it came to going to uni, I took a gap year just to try and explore that a lot more. And that became the time of the coronavirus pandemic. I picked up writing, started to look at a lot of articles, how does it work? And I just loved it. I could do it every single day. I'd find my niche, I'd find my passion. And women's football was that, wasn't too far away from me at all times, but, writing about it and just, being in that environment where other people are doing the same as you, and you're just constantly learning off other people. And then I explored the world of podcasts and broadcasting, like I'm doing at uni just now. There's just so much to it that you unpack. And when I started writing for Her Football Hub, that passion just went from 1 to 1,000. It was unreal. And I say this all the time, but I'm forever indebted to those guys, because I certainly would not be where I am today without them. But women's football was always close, and I just had to unlock that little padlock to what I wanted to do. And media and writing and broadcasting is certainly it. And you could say social media as well, since that's what I do as well now.
I guess it's you had the passion, but you didn't know where to channel it, and someone would be it's here, and you're right, yeah. Cool, now I'm in for it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
That does sound amazing.
It took me a while to unlock it, but once I'd found it, it was you couldn't stop me. Within a couple of years, I'm down in London now, working with arguably one of the best clubs in London. So it's It's an incredible feeling, but I'm very grateful to those that helped me unlock that, because I beg to think what would happen if I didn't. If I didn't unlock that, I'd probably be doing something very, very normal at uni, like accounting or who knows, just business on its own.
Speaking of, you said one of the best clubs in London. I think it's important you speak on that because I feel the WSL coverage is great, but I think there's a lot of coverage that's lacking for the Championship. And I think it's great to have you on because you are someone that sees one of the Championship teams, so you're kind of aware of their capabilities and you're aware of the system. So what's it like working for London City Lionesses and seeing them week in, week out?
Oh, it's like the most incredible experience of my life. Like the last 6 months has been nothing short of amazing. Like this group of players have so much drive towards the journey of promotion to the WSL. It's like they've got blinkers on. Nothing can get past these players. The staff are the same. Corey Daniels, the assistant coach, used to play at Arsenal, Charlton. Like I walk past her a few times a week and I pinch myself. Like I actually work with you. And then I go out to the players and I'm having a laugh with them as you do, being the social media person, your job's not taken too seriously. And it's like you're just rubbing shoulders with the most passionate, driven, enthusiastic women in the planet. It's crazy. I've got Mel, the head coach, who has taught me so much about the game. It's incredible. How to be involved in a football environment is so different to your usual environment, and it's something I had to learn pretty early on. Because anyone that would try and tarnish this journey of to promotion to the WSL, it's just not going to happen for you. So you have to be so sunken into it to the point where you can't see anything past it. And that's me now. I'm so sold on this journey with this club. It is incredible, but it's so amazing. These players work so hard, and they're just they're funny. They are very driven, and everyone around them is the exact same. So when you go in, it's it's all laughs and giggles, but at the end of the day, everyone's got a job to do, and as long as that job gets done well, everything's all good. But honestly, I'm so excited to see where this club ends up in 50, 100 years' time, because to think, this club's only 3 years old just now, and we're pushing for promotion to the best league in Europe. The sky is the limit for them. The club was founded on nothing but, the values of women's football. So for me, probably the best club in London for me, but that could be a little bit biased.
How did you end up in this role?
So
how did you get it? How did you I don't know, I don't want to say end up, because end up sounds a bit negative. How did you achieve your role at London City Lionesses?
End up sums it up pretty well, to be honest. I wouldn't have been mad. So I moved down to London in September, and it was Freshers Week, the classic, everyone's out doing mad things that I would certainly not share on the podcast, my flatmate was mental. I was not. I'd started work at Shoe pretty straight away, so I was in work mode all the time, like a classic kind of old pensioner attitude. And I see my phone one day and it's a message from the sporting director, Edward Gallagher, invite me down to chat with him. I was like, nah, not real. It's fake. This is fake. I don't believe it. He'd worked at Celtic for a numerous amount of years. I think we'd crossed paths maybe once, and we've somehow ended up back in this circle. But he gave me a message on Twitter, mid-afternoon, one Wednesday afternoon, hi, seen the work that you do with Her Football Hub, and other wee outlets that you've worked with, really like the work that you do. As a club that's growing, we'd love to have someone like you in if you want to come down and chat when we play Coventry, which, wow, what a game to be introduced to, because we came back from 2-0 down to draw 2-2. I was sitting next to the chairwoman, the owner of the club, Diane, and the second goal went in, and I have leaped up like a child that supported this club for years, leaped up, tears in my eyes. We've just came back to draw 2-2. Wasn't even involved with the club yet. But from then on, I absolutely did catch the bug. But I spoke to Edward, and he spoke to me about the journey that the club is on and what he wants me to do. And I thought, this is perfect for me, absolutely perfect. Involved in the Championship, such a high caliber club, such great values. Any player that you chat to at London City, when they come to London City, or even just now, the first thing they'll chat to you about is the vision and the values of the club and how they match their own. and it's just one thing that spreads throughout. And from then on, like, I caught the bug, and my first games were 2 away games, like 7 hours north in Sunderland and Durham. So I was thrown in at the deep end. I was like doing overnight stays with them. Like, I don't know these people, but it was the best way to be flung in. And now, like, I consider so many of them not just colleagues, but really good friends, and very grateful for that opportunity from Edward.
That's so mental. I love how it came full circle with Edward, but also football gets like that. Like when you go somewhere and you can feel other people's passion, it's very hard not to catch the bug. But then thrown in the deep end straight away, Durham and Sunderland.
Yeah, it was mental. So we were on the coach ready to go up to Durham was the first game. Obviously a massive game. Like, if we won this, we boost our chances of promotion. We unfortunately lost. But Mel came on the coach. I was already sitting down. She's like, "Girls, this is the new social media intern. Her name's Courtney. Say hi to Courtney." And it was like, "Hi." And these players are like so ready for a game. Like, they were in game mode already. And they're like, "Hi." Earbuds straight back in. And I was like, "Hi." Like, had no clue what to do. We obviously lost that game as well. So, it made things a little bit more difficult. But the Sunderland game was a lot better. It's such a good experience. Like, honestly, like, one of the most amazing things ever. Like, because it's, as a coach, you have to be a little bit more serious, don't you? You have to have a bit more authority about you. I don't. I get to have a laugh. I get to do them to do daft things like the post-match videos. They love doing them. So when they finish a game and they've won, "Courtney, can I get your phone? I want to do a post-match video." You sure can. And the big culprits for that are James Lee Napier and Charlotte Fleming. They love them. They can't get them away from the camera. So it's the most amazing thing. But yeah, very nerve-wracking at the same time.
As a socials person, socials person, how do you kind of find it after a disappointing game? Because it can be easy when you get the wins, but how do you kind of get content after a loss or a disappointing result?
Well, when it comes to a loss, like, I feel the loss as much as probably what they do. It is really, really difficult. Because the mood obviously is very dampened, and like I said, with the players' attitudes, they do take it like to a personal extent. So the last thing they want is someone like in their face asking them to do anything, or even seeing like other clubs like doing really, really well. So they'll kind of shut off, and rightfully so. I did the same as a player. So a loss is almost like, right, like the guy I work with, Sam. It's like, we plan what we're going to do. So we'll leave the dust to settle. We won't post anything, because the last thing I want is the players being like, "Oh, get that off." Like, there's no need for that, because at the end of the day, like, we're there for like them and the staff. So we just don't want to, hurt them in any way that could tarnish their, their attitude going into training or whatever. So after a loss, it's very quiet. You look at the content you've got from maybe like highlights or good things that happened in the game. So like, if we did score anyway, always try and focus on the positives, like always. But after a win, it's so much easier. Like, the mood is up here. Like, after Sunderland on Sunday, it was so good, because we played so well as well. It was obviously a shame to concede the penalty, but kudos to Sunderland. Like, they've done all that they could to try and at least get a goal in. A great wee club, and they always push every club they come up against to their heights. So that was a great win. 3 great goals. Like, Amy Rogers, I think I'll be putting that on the socials for the next few years to come if I'm there. It was so good. But after a loss, it's very difficult, and you almost just kind of like let the dust settle, go over what you've got, what can you say, and like the match report and stuff will go out anyway, so it's not too difficult. But after a win, it's like me and Sam are like fighting over who wants to post what, because there's just so much you want to say, and so much you want to instigate with fans and stuff. But yeah, after a win, it's the best job in the world. After a loss, perhaps not. One of the quietest ones, I could say.
We've asked a few people that have come on, like, in terms of talking content, like, what would be your dream piece of content? Like, you've got unlimited budget, you can do whatever you want. You could do a feature film if you wanted, a documentary, like a dream person you'd love to interview. Like, I'm always keen to see like what people's dreams piece of content is. What would you reckon yours would be?
I think, see now with how they do so well, like, and are starting to rise into the, well, maybe not after the FIFA Pro XI and stuff, maybe not, but with how well they're doing, I think it would be so good to do like a full week's worth of like behind the scenes with like Barcelona. Like, so good. Like, we behind the scenes interviews, and Alexia Putellas, like her day-to-day life. Like I think these things are just so interesting, and like a player's day-to-day life is actually really interesting. I chat to a few of them about it, and they'll tell you about like their pre-match rituals and their breakfast and all that, and like what they like to do in the changing room, like whether it's music or whether it's having a laugh. Like I think it's really interesting. So yeah, like a World Cup segment would be really good. Like I couldn't imagine covering the World Cup. I think that would be the ultimate dream. But yeah, like Barcelona would be a club that I would love to just be a fly on the wall for like a week leading up to like the Real Madrid game that's been sold out. That's the dream, the ultimate dream.
That would be sick. Like, to be fair, just thinking that then, like, imagine an all or nothing behind the scenes.
Imagine being in a
Barcelona
rondo, in a Barcelona rondo, just trying, like, as a normal person going in there, just trying to get the ball off one.
It's the standard players have, like, when I always think, Courtney, this might be different for you because you played at a higher standard than me. But I remember thinking, like, watching when I was working at Man City, I remember thinking, like, rondos can't be that hard, and it's not that much. And I remember being in one with like, just like we were just in like the indoor pitch. It was like Jesus Navas, Nolito, and Yaya Toure, and like I couldn't get near him. And I remember thinking, like, my legs aren't closed, I'm moving, but like you can't fit the ball through here. And honestly, the amount of times I got nutmegged, I was thinking, like, I don't know physically how you've done this. Like the physics in my head, what I've learned at school, don't equal to what you've now done to me. And it's just mental. Like the standard of players is just like disgusting, like so disgusting.
Definitely humbles you as someone looking from the outside in. You know, I watch the training obviously when I'm out, and like the analyst Sophie, she plays futsal, so she's like still very sharp, like knows her stuff. She plays with the Red Royals, and she'll go in and like have a laugh with them and play, and like it just looks like they're taking the mick like all the time, but like it's so minimal effort for them to. I think I would hate to be an opponent like coming up against you. Like I'm asked all the time if there's one player that I wouldn't want to come up against at London City, it would be Carla Girasoli, because if you flung a brick at her head, she would header it. Like she sticks her head on anything. Like no matter how fast paced that ball has been pinged at her head, she'll hit it. And, like you've got the captain like Harley Bennett, she'll get that ball off you before you even notice that it's there. Like it's crazy, but yeah, it humbles you. Like looking at them, thinking, nah, I could not be up to this standard. Certainly not. Like you guys are far too good for me.
That is mental. I always think people who play futsal, like, because it's always, I think like that's a weird like journey. If you play futsal, then go to football. I always think them players are always so techy. Like ball control is ridiculous. And like, oh, you don't really know how to play 11 aside. They're like, oh, listen, like, just get me the ball. It don't matter. Like, I'll be able to do things. And it's just like unbelievable. Jay, that's what you want. That's what you want, isn't it? It's champagne football. If everyone in the WSL played futsal for 10 years before coming into
there should be
aside.
weekly courses. Like, you know how people have weekly yoga? I think all teams should have weekly futsal. I want to see some interesting stuff on the pitch.
The thing is, I don't think that would be bad from a coaching standpoint for like one session a week. Be like, oh, it's futsal today. Like in terms of like ball control, like and movement, I think that'd be like, unreal. Jay, you might have yourself a little plan there. You can start delivering out to your teams.
I'd love to see it. I think obviously like the WSL is new and like we don't see too much about the championship. But I think when it comes to like what I've seen and what's really got me out of my seat, I've been really impressed with the championship. But I think you kind of need to know who's who to watch the championship. It's not necessarily thrown in front of your face. So I think, I want to ask you, Courtney, 3 players at London City Lionesses that you think people should watch out for, and 1 young player.
Wow. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd say all of them, but nah, there's definitely a few. So, like I said, Carla Girasoli, like her partnership with Harley Bennett is probably one of the best in the championship. They've been playing like as if they've been playing together for years. Like it's crazy. They're just such on the same level. So I'll say her. You could count her as a young one. I think she's only 19. I think she's a year or two younger than me. So I'll say she's my young one. I'll say Annie Rossiter, one of our strikers. Like, put anything on a plate for her. Not even on a plate. Anything within 1 meter of her, like, body, and it's getting touched in and it's going in. Like, crazy amount of talent that girl has. And you see it in training, and then you see the exact same thing happen in a game. You think like a turn and finish for her is like standard, like textbook. So I'll put her down as one of them. Amy Rodgers, my God, she's went on fire recently. Formerly at Liverpool as well. So I think maybe a few people already know who she is, but Amy Rodgers is incredible, like absolutely incredible. And I'll put for my last one, young Jess Gray, like one of our goalkeepers. She made her debut against Ashford in the FA Cup, and she's just so good. She's like 6'1" or something, and she's like 21, I think, maybe or 20, maybe same age as me. And she's just so good. Like Shay Yanez, right? World class. I'll say it now. Our goalkeeper, Shay, world class. There's a reason that everyone hypes up about her. She's so good. But Jess, since she's came up from the B team, made her debut and stuff, I'll give her credit where it's due. She'll go on to do amazing things.
That's good size, 6'1". I feel like that's always one thing, like one slight. I'm always like, the goalkeeper's as big as they can be, sort of thing. But 6'1", that's can't be sniffed at.
It's crazy. I stand beside her like training, and I'm just like, you're so tall. You probably have like another couple of inches to go.
Yeah, if it's not very old.
That's crazy.
She just gets to anything. There's no point in trying to lob her or chip her because she's already got it. So
just the sheer presence as well, like for corners and stuff. You just think, listen, we have to get this away from the goalkeepers. I'm not going to beat her because she's 6'1" standing, and once her arms go up, it's like and some.
Yeah. Like at Ashford, she was standing. Like if they did get a corner, like arms up and all that. And I was thinking, these players must be like, why have you done that? Like it's the FA Cup. Like what are you doing that for? Like at least give us a chance, a little bit of a chance. But Ashford were pretty tall as well. Like what a team they were. Like see for the first half, I was like, they're onto something. They're pretty good, and I love the FA Cup. We've got Arsenal in a couple of weeks. That's a dream fixture if you ask me. But I love the FA Cup because it gives players a chance to do that. But Jess is like a brick wall. Like Shay is so cat-like. She'll get to anything just by like leaping 4 feet across the goal and without one hair out of place, get back up and shout. Jess is just like one arm, just like catch it. It is amazing. It's so funny to watch. I wish I could show everyone it.
That's sick though. The FA Cup, that's the best thing about the FA Cup to me. Like being able to test yourself against the best. Like especially like with Arsenal right now leading the WSL, like that's going to be an amazing game. Also for you on like a social media standpoint, like it's a lot more eyes on your work, so that's wicked.
Yeah, no, it's so exciting. I've always admired like Arsenal for a long time. Jay will tell you. I've admired them for a long time. They've got easily some of the best players in the world at the minute. Perhaps slacking a little bit, but for us, it's we got that tie, and the first mood in around the training ground was, this is a chance to test ourselves. Like we want to win a WSL, so this is our best chance to go and show people that we deserve to be there and that we are going to be there. They're not doing so well at the minute. Obviously, they get beat 2-0 against Birmingham in a Birmingham side that we were beaten 2-0. They came back to draw 2-2. We won't talk about it. We done really well against Birmingham, so we were thinking by theory we can go out and do our job here, and if we do, then I think it will bring a lot more eyes to the club that are deserved. I think I seen a tweet the other day actually that I was a big fan of, and it was someone had said like, kudos to London City, currently sitting second in the championship above like Bristol, Durham, Crystal Palace. And it's like, give yourself a pat on the back, girls, because that's what you're doing. Like people are starting to see it now. Like a 3-year-old club is doing things, like doing bits in the championship and could do bits against Arsenal. So, let's hope we do, because my job will be a dream if we do. I will not.
We have to roll out that content for years to come.
Your phone will be on fire.
Even more so if that game goes well and Arsenal go on to win the WSL, rolling that out all season long, like flying.
Yeah. Like I'll just be putting it out there. Expect to see us lift the WSL in the next 3 years. Expect to see it. Harley Bennett lift that WSL trophy. I can see it. I can see it.
I love the desire and the passion is mental. But yeah, second place in the championship, not nothing to be sniffed at. Like That's bang on. Moving on from that, let's talk Euros, women's Euros in the summer. How do you feel like that's gonna affect the game in the UK? Like, obviously, a lot of extra eyes on it, but how do you expect to see, let's say, September, like the start of the next season? What will be different in the women's football landscape for you?
I think there'll be a lot more maybe fans that perhaps were debating on getting into women's football that will, cement themselves into the game. I think, being Scottish, talking about the Euros is a touchy subject. We're not going to be there. It's fine. It's fine. We didn't want to be there anyway. We're getting ready for the World Cup. But I think it's going to do positive things, and England are in a really good place as well. They've got such a good team going forward that they're one of the favourites to go and win it. So I think if they do go and win it, or even like Northern Ireland do really well, which I'm so excited to see them at Euros, it'll bring so many more fans to the women's game. I think the Euros is going to be like that final push that the women's game needs here in the UK, because it's been like up and up and up for a while. You can see it, get that little bit better kind of each month. But I think the Euros is going to be like the final shove down the hill to see the biggest amount of progress. Like, I'm looking forward to it. Like little special things like Northern Ireland being there, like part-time players going to Euros is incredible. And then you've got like the giants like England, who are favourites to win it. And I think if they do win it, like, it could probably be one of the best things that will happen to this country for a while in terms of like women's football, because so many people like look up to like Lucy Bronze and Leah Williamson and like all these big names, and to see them win a Euros, it'd be like, do you know what, I want to do that. And I hope to see the fluctuation in like local clubs with young girls, because that would be the ultimate dream, was to see young girls think, they've won a Euros, why can't I do it? They've all came from the same grown up journey that we have. Just they're not Scottish, so so that's why they've won it.
You know what? Thinking about that, I bet there is. I don't know how. I don't know the stats. I don't know any actual insights, but I'm just thinking about it. I bet after a Euros or a World Cup win, I bet there's always like a golden generation that come from it. No, like players that are inspired by it. Like, you know what? Like, I actually love football. Like, I've watched this now, and I think that could be me. There's some stats I'd like to see, actually. Like the uptake, and then like the production of players following that. I just think that would be unreal. But yeah, I agree with you. It's almost a final push, because I feel like with COVID, we had the World Cup, amazing, and I thought like this was it. I thought like the ball's rolling, World Cup, and now we've got the women's team playing in the men's stadiums. We're breaking records, and then COVID hit, and you're sort of like, it just didn't. Whereas like men's football didn't take a hit really.
Yeah.
But it was like women's football, like I felt massively did. It's like you look at now, like I look at things at Man City, and I see like the attendance numbers, and I'm like, these are lower than they were before.
Yeah.
But like I'm like, there's more funding in it. The teams are arguably better. Like, I don't get it, but yeah, I do think the Euros will be that final push, and I can't wait to see during the Euros. Like, as much as I'd love England to win it, and I do think they could be favourites, I'm not so sure about the selection. I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm trying not to get too excited. Jay, I won't even get you started on it, because I know what you
I'm being good. Whatever team's out there, I'll support 100%. I'll be on my best behaviour.
Yeah, the selection's been a bit, off the last couple of times, hasn't it? It's been a bit, I've seen a lot of tweets about it, and I think one player, as long as she's fit, they should go, and I'd imagine that Jay will agree with me that a lot of the uproar was about how the last time was like Beth Mead and Jordan Nobbs like not being selected. I think if they don't go to the Euros, or even one of them don't go, then I think all eyes will be on why not, rather than it's the Euros, because they've proven time and time again that they should be there. And I think now that I live in England, it's only my right to support them. Perhaps maybe my dad wouldn't be too happy because he's a patriotic classic Scottishman, but I'll support any home nation that's there, and hopefully Jordan Nobbs and Beth Mead are there, because
if anyone asks, just supporting your local, ain't you?
Yeah,
just my local country, the one I'm currently living in. Still gonna go watch the local.
Yeah, I mean, Wembley is literally like right on my doorstep, so to be honest, like it's literally my local team. If anyone was to ask, not even a club. It's genuinely England men's and women's team that are my local club.
It's actually your local team.
I will support any club that needs a little bit of supporting. So I'm all for giving back to small clubs. So.
Oh, the shade is unbelievable. That's so funny. Yeah, it's gonna head up the road and watch the local. I reckon. Need a few extra fans. Going mental. So how long have you been in London for now? Is this your first year?
Yeah, this is my first year, coming on to 6 months now, but it feels like I've been here like a lifetime. Like, honestly, I was home for Christmas and I was just like, I couldn't live here again. I couldn't. I'm a big city girl now, not that small Glasgow minded anymore. I'm all London. Yeah, but I've been here 6 months and so much has happened in 6 months that I think in the next few years, like how things are going. What a good timing, to be honest, with the Euros coming around. I'm so looking forward to how it'll go, because like my uni do so well at like marketing for women's football as well, like do really well, like giving out tickets and stuff to like the FA Cup final, which was an occasion, especially being at Wembley. So I'm looking forward to it, to be honest, and hopefully getting involved as much as I can, whilst season will be finished and the Euros will be on. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it, and I imagine you guys are as well. It'll be some good content for you guys to chat about.
As long as all I think is I'm gonna get into it. Fair enough. I'll get into it.
The selection has to be right, is what you
The
want.
selection has to be right, because so much is riding on this. At the same point, like, it's great for women's football, and I think it's gonna attract a lot of eyes. But with those eyes comes pressure.
Yeah.
This is in England. It's at Wembley. England need to be in that final. Like, I understand there's great teams, but it will be crazy if the Lionesses aren't at Wembley in that final. Sometimes that's the thing, like what the men did at the Euros, you get to the final, sometimes it just isn't your day. That is fair enough. But they need to get to the final, and the right players need to get picked, because you have to think, when's the next Euros going to be in England? It's like, it really is now or on. That's the thing. It really is now or never. I think the last one was 2005, maybe. The last time the Euros was in England. So it's like, look how long that much of a wait is. Obviously, Jordan Nobbs has to be there. Beth Mead has to be there. Like, these are non-negotiables. These are, as long as they are fit, they must be there. I always keep saying they must be on the plane. No, they must be on the coach to Wembley. And I think it's going to be hard.
You have to get a coach who can walk there.
That is true. Like, Spain's coming. Germany love to win the Euros. Yeah. And I think, yeah, you're gonna have to shut with your best guns to make sure, because I don't want a repeat of the Olympics. I think, even though it wasn't just England, it was everyone mixed together. You just don't want that kind of feeling of like, this shouldn't have happened. Yeah. I think from this Euros, I think that will be one of the best ways as well. People love success. When USA won the 2019 World Cup, all people cared about was USA at one point. Like, obviously, Megan Rapinoe, she's a loud character and she does a lot of things, but it's like, what draws you to her even more is the success when she's lifting trophies. And I think that is one of the biggest ways to inspire. Everyone wants to be like the person that's doing well. Like, sometimes sometimes people don't want to be the loser. People want to be the winner. So I think it will be pressure, but that's pressure you want as England. England is one of the best countries in the world in women's football. So it's like, go out there, show it, bring home the glory.
I think that's the main.
I'm not so big on the win. I mean, winning would be amazing. I think if we can go out and it be like a very good. This is me. I'm just a marketing head now. This is what I do. I just think marketing 24/7. I play 2 games Monopoly and I'm the man now. I think as long as we can go out and have like an inspiring run, haven't got a win, but imagine we've seen it before with like World Cups. Like, I'm thinking like men's World Cups when they've gone out in the groups and stuff, and like nothing is worse than that. So at the Euros, if we can get like a semi-final run, and that's even like quarterfinals. If we get to the quarterfinals and say we've scored 15 goals and we played amazing and we've like had really good games, really exciting. I'd rather do that than scrape it to the final with because I don't feel like that
You're not
inspires
trying to
anyone.
escape. You're not trying to scrape it. I'll scrape it.
I'm not trying.
I'll scrape it. If we
I don't feel like that's inspiring. I don't think that's what gets people going. I feel like you want to watch good football, don't you? More than anything. I mean, winning's awesome, but sometimes you do come away and you think, yeah, 1-1-0, but like we weren't good.
I think it depends.
We weren't good. Like,
if we beat Spain in the quarters,
like England v Spain, wouldn't it? Like,
yeah, if we scraped. Imagine if we scraped quarterfinal,
No,
beat Spain 1-0, scrape.
That's different.
Beat Germany in the semis 1. I'll scrape the entire way. I'll scrape and then I'll help the guy scrape England onto the trophy.
So would you say no to like a penalty shootout then? Because that's almost like that's scraping it, isn't it? But a penalty shootout brings a whole nation together. Like
I can't do a penalty shootout. I was at the men's Euros this summer. I can't do a penalty shootout.
I'd love a penalty shootout.
It's the worst feeling in the world.
I would. The vibes.
I just think it's the most. It's just awful, and I don't think the best team always wins it. And penalty shootouts aren't for me. Not for me.
I could see that. Spain, England final. We beat Germany in the semis 2-1.
I'm gonna write this down.
It comes down.
We'll clip this up, send it back to him.
We'll clip it. We'll clip it. But obviously, it comes down. I think we'd win 4-2. I think the whole vibe would be Spain are technically incredible, the greatest team that's at this Euros. And then when it comes to penalties, that's the thing. Penalties, it doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter how great you are. It's like it just comes down to the kick. That's going to be my prediction. I'm going to go Ladbrokes tomorrow.
You think going all the way to the finals to win on penalties 4-2? Yep. That's so specific. You wouldn't be able to go to Ladbrokes for that, bro.
Like Zepateus, like the winning penalty. Like imagine Mary Earps would go from like Man United to Lyon like overnight.
Yeah.
Denying Pateus the winning penalty for the Euros. Like I can see it.
That's the thing. And that's the beauty of the international tournament. Like if these things do happen, that's what I can't wait. I can't wait for the young players. I think there's going to be so many young players that are going to go to this Euros. And like, if they get the playing time, they're going to be able to write their names in the limelight. And like, everyone will just come out like, who's this person? They're insane and stuff like that. Because
this is your worry though, isn't it? Your worry is that they won't take the young players.
Yes.
Like, they'll stick with the old guard. And that's what your worry is.
I think everyone should watch Michael Owen at international tournament. Watch Wayne Rooney when they were young. That is hunger. And I think that's the kind of, sometimes you need to let players do that. You don't know what you're walking into. So you're not scared of anything. I think like Lauren Hemp. Whenever I watch Lauren Hemp play, especially internationally, I think everyone that's listening to this, watching this, go and watch Lauren Hemp's game against France. I think England lost 3-1 maybe, but the way how she was attacking France, I thought she hasn't got a care in the world. She doesn't care who they are. And I think sometimes as a more experienced player, you know, oh my God, we're going to face them. They're such a well-drilled team. But when you're young, you're just kind of, I don't know you, but I know who I am.
I think you're playing down Lauren Hemp's experience there.
I don't, but they didn't have her on the scouting report.
International experience, yes.
Yeah.
But think she's at Man City. They usually play Champions League. Like she played Barcelona last year, and they didn't get run off the park. Like plays in WSL.
First game they did. They got them. No, they got them first game. First game they ran into a storm.
Over 2 legs. I'm not having that. But yeah, she plays against Chelsea. 3 times a year maybe. Plays against Arsenal. Like
so
these, like a lot of this is what should give us the boost in terms of all the English players, or the vast majority playing in WSL, which is arguably the highest competition. That should set us in very good stead.
You've opened a can of worms, because what I feel the WSL is the best league in the world. Yes. However, you don't really come up against that many different players in the WSL. I think a lot of the WSL players are pretty much the same. And I think players, you don't really see different types of players. So therefore, when you go to internationals, you're seeing all different kind of players, because it's like a lot of the WSL players could be English, could be Scandinavian, and then you could go against...
It's a similar style throughout, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you could go, you face France, and France have all these players from the Division 1 feminine. and they are completely different. You go to America, you come up against nothing but athletes, and it's like sometimes like you're not ready for that. But I feel like Lauren Hemp, you kind of put her in any kind of situation, and she's fearless. It's like even the Olympics, first game, like she was just. And I don't want to put too much pressure on her because like she still is so young, and it's like everyone gets so excited and they're like, yes, Hemp at the Euros, but I kind of want her to go to the Euros feeling comfortable but ready to do her thing. I don't want it to be like she is everything and like, because then it could be so much pressure on her
bro.
shoulders.
That's the English media. Scones.
I'm so scared.
It's too late already.
I'm so scared about that. I'm really scared about that because it's like you want her to just go there and quietly cook. You just want her to just breeze past defenders quietly. Like, who the hell is she? And also, I think Fran Kirby's massive. Because at the end of the day, you can't call her world class, and then not look at her to kind of be one of the key parts of this Lioness team going into the Euros. I think if she goes in there fit, we could win it. That's why I feel so strongly. I think this is a great England team, but I think certain players need to be brought. Some players should not be brought.
It's a great England roster. I'm not sure what the team's going to be saying, but the pool of players that are available to pick from, for me, should win the Euros.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the talent is deep. Like we run deep in pretty much every position. But that's football though, isn't it? Like that's why you can't bring everyone. There's only 18, 20 players you can bring. And that's what makes football. But yeah, I do think when it comes to it, England's talent pool is very, very, very deep.
I'd love to see one championship player. I'd love to see one. I think kind of Theo Walcott at the 2006 World Cup, just let someone like just be in that atmosphere. I know it won't happen. That's just
you say that because if you think like World Cup, Ellie Roebuck did that.
But that's what I want. I want a young player to be there and like, or just a player that's underrated to just kind of like show me that you've been looking outside of the obvious. Because I know they have their obvious picks, but I want to see that you've done some research, that you've spoken to Courtney, you've heard who's great at London City Lionesses, and you've given them a chance. Like, I think you need that, and just that certain that mystery. I don't want to know what the team is. I want certain players that obviously Jordan Nobb's perfect, Frank Herbie, obviously, but I wasn't expecting that, but I see where you're coming from. That is one of the biggest things I want to see in that England team.
Yeah.
You want to be inspired. You must be inspired, guys.
I'm scared for Spain though, because Barcelona is Spain. Spain is Barcelona. So it's
I think like going back to what you said though, like having all the different styles all coming. That's what international football. That's what you get excited for. Like
Germany look good. Look good. Like, and I've been watching some Bundesliga highlights. Obviously, they're on their winter break right now, but I was like, oh, Germany look good. And they love to win the Euros as well. I think they've won it like 7 times.
They're not a stranger to winning the Euros. It's ingrained
in them to like do well internationally. It's just something that in Spain as well. The men's team have left a legacy over the years. So I think it's good to say it's England's turn to go and do that. I think, but looking at England though, like I think no matter what, women's football will like blow up here when the Euros come, like without a doubt. So essentially, they've like without being too far talking, they've kind of done their job by doing that. So I think they've got nothing to lose. And there's nothing more dangerous than a person with nothing to lose. So they'll be going out each game like one game at a time. The classic football chat. But I think if they were to win this Euros, it would be the start of like a revolution. Honestly, it would just be crazy. I can imagine the next generation of footballers in and around England would be like mental, and in 10 years' time, the same headache would happen about who's getting chosen for England because more players have come up and more have had a light shine on them. But it'd be the dream to have someone from the Championship chosen for the England team. But I think I'm an optimist, but I'm also a realist. So who knows? I think if we get like a little email one day from Serena Wigman about an England player, I'll be sure to let you know.
And
Who
that
would
is a
you
point though,
start?
thinking
Who would
about
you
it.
start for
Like,
England?
Who would I start for England?
Yeah. Who would you start up front? I think that's probably the most
what
up for
from who do you
grabs.
bring from the Lionesses, or in terms of
Yeah.
just the actual team?
Both, but Lionesses. Who would you start?
I mean, Molly Rice has won a bronze at the under-20s World Cup, so I feel like it's hard time now to go and hopefully get, you know, some more I'd say silverware with the England team. So I'll give her an opportunity. But I think like any of our players that are eligible for England like would put in such a good shift. And I think even being around like that England team would just do mad things for their confidence as well. Like, I can just imagine any team, like even now, like Frank Kirby, for instance, coming back from an England camp, like their confidence must be like through the roof. You've just played with like the best in the country, like consistent training with the best in the country, and they're coming back to their club to. I think that's why they always end up doing so well if they're not injured, you know, per se. But the confidence must be through the roof. So you know, it'd be the dream to like put a few of them in there. I know there's a few Scottish that you know are probably in for a good chance if they keep up the consistency for Scotland. Scotland's a little bit different to England, and I think in terms of they often choose like players who like already play like in Scotland rather than like maybe looking elsewhere, which is obviously a very good thing, a very, very good thing. But like I think Carly and like Jamie are like not too far off, maybe call up to a training camp, you know. So who knows, it might be the same for England. You know, we've got a few internationals, you know, we've got Lance, Atlanta Primus, Jamaica, Rihanna Jarrett, Ireland. So yeah, we've got a few, and a lot of them have got like youth level experience, like Charlotte Fleming, like captained England at youth level. So I don't think they're too far away from it, and you know, I hope this Euros is like the kind of we dream to be like, let's keep going, let's get promoted to the WSL, and let's say to Serena Wickman, you know, put us in, you know, get Jordan Nobbs out, get Frank Kirby out, the Lionesses is in our name.
Jay's camera's just going to go off now. He's just going to be gone. On his way to London. He's furious.
Who would you start like in the current Lioness team? Who would you be your starting striker?
The national team or
national team. National team.
I think Scott Bale White. I'll put her, you know, Missy's consistent. I think, you know, she's getting older now, but you can just count on her, I think. And I love seeing this. I love it. I want to know the story behind it more than anything. I feel like maybe she's done it one day and like everyone's like, oh.
There is a story about it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I read an article. It's not what you think it is. Like when you read it, you're like, I don't see the correlation, but okay, you do you in it. Like it's a bit of I remember reading it thinking like, what? Like how did you get that from that? Like I can't remember the exact reason. I'm gonna try to find the article and I'll send it to you, Courtney. But guys, thank you so much. Courtney, best of luck for the rest of the season. I'm looking forward to Lionesses versus Arsenal. We'll definitely keep an eye on that one. Jay, as always, big thanks to you, man, and everyone at home. Thanks for checking us out. See ya.